Hey everybody. This probably doesn't sound as good as the usual introductions on the podcast, and that's because I'm literally in the middle of the woods in the Interlake right now. But I still have an episode for you. This is my conversation with Nick Friesen, who's been on the show a few times before in the past as a member of Futurekids. His new project, though, is something a little bit different. If you remember bands like Gorillaz and Prozac and other animated musicians, you'll have an idea of what Olivia C is all about. And to be honest, I wasn't sure what to think about the project when I first heard about it. I was aware that the character of Olivia C was somehow related to Futurekids, but I didn't know what the connection was, and I wasn't really sure who was singing on the recordings. And in my conversation with Nick, we go through all of that. There's a lot more to this project than just a fake performer. It's very in-depth. There's an animated series coming out. There's lots of layers, and it's a really, really cool look at a way to do music in a very, very unconventional way. I hope you enjoy it. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Park Theatre, Winnipeg's premier concert and event venue. If you want to find out all the great shows they have coming up, go to myparktheatre.com.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network.
Welcome to Witch Police Radio. This is one of the rare occasions, after almost 400 episodes, where I'm not sure how to even start. I'm here with someone who's been on the show before, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, just because this whole thing is so weird to me. But we're kind of talking about music that you've made, but It's under not only a pseudonym, but a completely fictional character. So maybe you can just start by kind of explaining what it is we're talking about, and then I have so many questions about this.
Okay, sure. My name is Nick Friesen. If you know me from music, it's from a band called Futurekids that Sam has been generous to have us on multiple times.
A couple times, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. There was two different incarnations of Futurekids, three different front people. Even I fronted the band for 5 minutes. But
Right.
Yeah, my whole thing with music really that I came to was that I'm not a singer.
Okay.
I like to write songs, and I like to play. I can play bass, and I like to play drums and Moog synthesizer and
cool.
Very, very simple guitar. But yeah, I guess the project we're talking about today is you can just call it Olivia C.
Right. Okay. And so when I first encountered this, I was completely confused because if Olivia C, there's a connection to Futurekids there. That was a song, right?
It was a song.
Okay.
Yep.
And it was a character. And the robot character was also connected to Futurekids.
4-track is the robot.
Right. So when I saw this first Olivia C thing, I was like, okay, this is obviously some kind of Futurekids related spin-off of some kind. And I know that with that band, you had been doing a lot of the animation for the videos and the artwork for the the posters and covers and shirts and stuff. So It seemed logical. Okay, this is just some Futurekids thing. But then I started looking at the social media posts, and they kept saying it was from Portland, and that just completely threw me. And I think as time has progressed and I've kind of been following what you're doing,
right,
I have a better idea of what it is. But as far as anyone can tell, just coming into this blind, Olivia C is a singer-songwriter, perhaps?
Yeah, Olivia C. The character Olivia C., who, as far as any social media is concerned, that's coming from her.
Okay.
It's not coming from me, Nick
right.
Friesen.
Well, you're not seen anywhere. There's no Nick Friesen anywhere on the...
Exactly, yeah. So Olivia C. she's a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
She's from Winnipeg originally. She moves to Portland.
Okay, that explains the Portland.
Yeah. So she's living her life.
Okay. And she has an album out.
Yep.
So obviously at some point you had someone else doing the voice of Olivia C.
Yeah.
So again, this is just my assumptions from what I've been seeing, but it sounds like you did a lot of the music, you wrote the songs, and then you obviously brought someone in to be the voice of the character.
Yes. Should we take it right back to the impetus of the idea?
Yeah, that's maybe a good way to. Yeah, how did this come about? How did you end up being the creator of a singer-songwriter that lives in Portland that is 2D?
Yeah. So before Futurekids, there was a band called Merch Table Delight.
Right.
And literally the last song that we played as Merch Table Delight at our last jam or whatever, right before we broke up, was this song Olivia C.
Okay. Is that the one that carried on to Future Kids?
Yep. And
Okay.
so that song, when I brought in Josh Benoit and Ian Peters, guitar and drums,
Right.
I just kind of invited them over to jam one night, and I said, "Here's a song I was working on when Merch Table came to an end. It's called Olivia C."
Right.
It was the first song we played, and it went really well. And I was like, okay, so like through the bad and through the good, I have this song Olivia C. And then also at the same time, while Merch Table was breaking up and I was about to form what would be Future Kids, it was, I want to say it was 2012 or 2013 and around there. This is how far back we're going with this project. My wife and I, we were both, well, she still works in journalism. I was working in journalism at the time, and we were sitting there at Folkfest in the media tent, and I had kind of done what I needed to do, and she was sitting there writing, and I said, you know what? While she's sitting there writing, I'm also going to write, because I didn't care about whatever band was on stage.
Sure, yeah.
At main stage. And so I started writing what was initially first a feature screenplay called Olivia C.
Okay. So this character has stuck with you for a while.
Oh man. Yeah. And so then when Future Kids started, I was like, well, you know, maybe it's a screenplay, maybe it's a short film, and I dummied it down to from 60 pages to 20 pages.
Okay.
And then it was like, well, maybe it's a graphic novel, and I drew the first few pages of that, and then I was like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And and then as we were working on Future Kids, and the song Olivia C was continuing, and then when I made the music video for In Service,
Right.
which features Olivia C joining the band Future Kids.
Right. Yes, I remember that video.
As the keyboard player,
Yeah.
as the Moog synthesizer player, with her robot 4-track, who is very jealous of other machines.
Right. Right. Including
and
the synthesizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets jealous of the synthesizer, and that idea came from my dog being jealous.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
You know, anytime like my wife and I kiss, and he gets jealous, he
Sure.
tries to get
Wants to
in
be part of
there.
it. Yeah.
So anyways, so Olivia C just kept kind of existing through these songs, and we redid the song on, there was one Future Kids EP, and then on the full length we redid it with the new lineup.
Yeah.
And so that song just kept living. It wouldn't go away. This character of Olivia wouldn't go away. And in the interim, as Future Kids was kind of winding down, I was writing all these short stories, and then I wrote a short story version of the story of Olivia C.
Okay.
And I started inserting her into other short stories I was writing. And she was also making her way onto other posters from other bands.
Yeah.
Like, not only was she on the album art for Future Kids, but she was on a Hey Pilgrim album poster.
Okay.
She was on the University of Winnipeg Film Festival poster. She was just anywhere.
Crazy.
Anytime anyone asked me to draw a poster,
That was your character.
I put Olivia on there. And so
yeah.
she was kind of taking on this life of her own. And before, actually, this would have been about 2015, before Future Kids recorded our full length This Is Everything.
Yeah.
I bought some recording equipment, and I wanted to test it out before I sat down with Future Kids to demo or record or whatever it was we were going to do. And I called up my good friend Andy Cole, who you may know from, he's been in
a few bands.
Eagle Lake Owls, a la Mode.
Yeah.
He's in Hearing Trees right now, and he has a new band called Great Wealth that is hopefully going to make its live debut this year. It's
cool.
Some of the Eagle Lake Owls people. And Andy and I, you know, we've been friends. We actually met, like, I interviewed him for the Uniter with Eagle Lake Owls. That was how we met. And
that last Eagle Lake Owls record, incidentally, is great. I love it.
Oh, the full band one?
Yeah,
man?
it's incredible. With the horn, the trumpet and stuff in there, yeah, it's great.
It's so good. Yeah. Like, Andy's just one of those guys that, like, I've been a fan, and we've been friends.
Yeah.
We, you know, we hadn't really worked on anything, and I just said, hey, you want to come over and jam? And I just want to test out this recording equipment.
Sure.
And it was very blind. Like, I think I had like 2 weeks. I had ended a job, and I was starting a new job, and I was like, let's just muck around.
Right.
And we spent an afternoon, and the rules that we made were like, okay, I'll sit down at one instrument, and you sit down at the other instrument. Like, I sat down on drums, he sat down on guitar, and we just started playing. And if we made it through the take, that was the take.
Okay, cool.
We literally did not blow any takes. Every take was the first take.
Cool.
And then we just layered it. Like, Andy would say, okay, like, I'm going to play a synthesizer part or the guitar part. And I said, okay, I'll lay down some bass.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, so he played drums on one of the songs. I think in 2 of these sessions, these impromptu hangs, we recorded like 8 or 10 songs.
Cool.
And 5 or 6 of them were really like on point. The same sound, same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And he was busy with Eagle Lake Owls, and I was busy with Future Kids. And these instrumentals, I mixed them, and then they sat there.
Are those the instrumentals on the Olivia? Okay,
Yep.
yeah, got it. Good.
2015, we
Wow.
recorded these, and then in maybe 2017, early 2018, I sat down with them. You know what? No, there was Kaylee from Futurekids.
Mm-hmm.
She was the vocalist Moog playing Futurekids. Her and I sat down, and we had recorded one song, just her and I was like, hey, do you want to like lay down some vocals on these
Right,
instrumentals?
right.
Andy and I did, and we did one or two, and we really liked them. And then Futurekids kind of came to its, its close,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
bands do. Bands break up. As I think Frank Black once said, bands break up. That's what they do.
It is what they do. Yeah.
So I had 2 out of the 6.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. So I was sitting there, and then I wrote lyrics for the rest of them, and I talked to a couple of other vocalists and couldn't quite get anything together. We couldn't find a time that worked for everybody as it does, and not everyone was really kind of getting the project, I guess.
Well, it's a bit of a strange project, like,
because at this point I'm just saying, like, yeah, this is kind of like, it wasn't the idea for
the animation wasn't involved. Okay,
it wasn't involved. I was just like, look, this is gonna be it's a recording project,
right?
Call it that. I have the lyrics written. You'll come in, you'll spend a few hours, you'll lay down some tracks, and we'll just put it out. And then as I'm emailing lyrics and stuff, I was like, you know what, maybe we put it out under Olivia C.
Sure.
And I have breakfast with Andy one morning, and I was like, what would you think about that?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, like to have something behind it.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And so, like I say, I'm talking to a couple different, we right from the get-go, when Andy and I recorded these, we said, if we put vocals on them, it's got to be a woman.
Okay.
We just knew that these songs needed a strong female voice.
Okay.
And we kind of tossed around like names over the years. And Andy actually moved away to Ontario for a few years.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, what do you think of it? And we kept, the idea was alive as we worked on other animation projects back and forth. And
well, didn't you have some animation thing with him about a cat?
Yeah, Calls from My Cat, which is, we got funding to do 8 episodes, and it's going to come out eventually. We've submitted it to the people with the money, with the distribution, and that's like, I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school. It's Andrews McMeel Universal. Okay. They've released Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield, Peanuts. So that's
huge, yeah.
Yeah, they gave us some money to tell the story of this animated cat named Wesley, where he calls his owner at home or he calls his owner at work. Yeah. And bothers him.
Well, I think I saw one of the preview ones you did there.
Yeah, we made like a pilot for it, and that's how they came across us, because we had kind of shopped it around to like CBC and some other things, and people were interested, but no one was really biting.
Does she think she is? That little haircut, like the one actress, striped shirt on screen. She never came aboard, long-term conversion, dub copies till 15, then she just stopped. Your eyes did eyes in time. Sun-kissed and dirty blonde, burrowing for panther,
I kind of get the epiphany. I say, you know what? If this is going to be Olivia C. and she's a character, and I want to make these animated shorts,
Yeah.
maybe instead of, because what happened was all these singers were like, oh, well, I'm doing my own project, and I don't really want to blur the lines between this and another project.
It makes sense, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
totally fair. And I said, maybe I need to find an actress who is also a trained singer.
Okay. To
Because-
portray the character of Olivia C.
Yes, because then it's not gonna conflict with any musical project
Sure.
that she has. She could have a million other acting projects as actors
As they do, yeah.
as they do.
Yeah.
And there was someone I'd been a fan of, and I'd met her briefly once at the UW Film Fest. Her name's Olivia Ulrich.
So the name works. You got that.
So,
Yeah,
and that was kind of a funny thing, because I was like, that's a weird coincidence, but I'd seen her perform. I'd seen her in some short films.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'd seen her singing on was in her Instagram feed.
Okay.
She was singing a cappella.
Okay. And it was the sound you wanted?
And I was like, oh, it's just like this, like, it's a very like Jenny Lewis, very
Sure.
like sweet, but with some oomph behind
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
she can do something like really kind of calm. She could do something really big. And I said, I cold called her. I said,
Cool.
I don't know if you remember me. We met a few years ago. And
Do you want to be a cartoon?
yeah, and I was like, this is the concept.
Yeah.
And in that time, there was an instrumental track.
Okay.
And so I kind of made a proof of concept, because as I was making this animation for this instrumental track, it's like 1 minute long.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. I was like, you know what? This feels like an opening credits sequence.
Okay.
So I spent some time and I made the thing with like no idea what it was going to be. And I was able to be like, this is the animation style. It's kind of like late 80s, like it's hand drawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted it to look like cell animation. So that's what it is. I hand draw it. I scan it into Photoshop. I color it like Microsoft Paint
Yeah,
style
yeah.
in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's definitely a recognizable look too. I mean, I think that's why when I first saw the Olivia C stuff pop up online, I was like, "Oh, clearly this is Futurekids." Like, there's the
it's-
connection, right? Yeah, yeah.
So it's done in the same style as the Futurekids video and the Greg McPherson video.
Yeah,
that
that's
I
right.
did
Yeah,
for Party at Greg's.
Yeah.
Which I saw get shared recently because he's got this
He's got that.
anniversary
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I actually saw that video appear again recently too. And yeah, same thing probably.
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
shared
yeah.
it, and I was like, "Oh man, that takes me
Yeah.
back!" Like, because that was the first one because I'd done a little bit of animation growing up,
Sure.
but
Like just for fun.
yeah, just like I took an NFB course when I was a kid.
Cool.
And I went to film school and I made films, and I hadn't really done any animation. But one night at the Low Pub, I just blindly walked up to Greg and I was like, "Hey, I'm a fan, a longtime fan.
Yeah, yeah.
I have an idea for a video for this song." And he was like, "Great."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh crap! Now
Now
I
you
have to
have to do it.
figure
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
how to do this animation style that I have in my head." And it took some time, but yeah. So I've kind of refined that. So, anyways, I sent this proof of concept to Olivia. I opened it up to a few people, and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" Like I say, and so Olivia and I met, and we met for coffee. We wound up chatting for 3 hours.
Cool.
It was one of those like totally on the same page, like same sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm 36, and she's like, I think turning 24 this week.
Okay.
So a bit of an age difference.
Yeah.
But
But it worked. Like, yeah.
it totally like very kindred spirits. Like
Cool.
I was like, okay, this is a collaborator.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to just be someone who was going to come in and sing and then walk away from it, because
Right.
now that I knew it was going to be this thing, and if I was going to start investing all this time and energy into writing these short
Yeah,
films and
yeah.
things that would go with it, and so we met up in December of 2018,
Okay.
and we spent one afternoon in December recording these songs,
Okay.
and
That's really not that long ago. I mean, it's just a few months. So yeah.
yeah, we cranked it. It was like a 5-hour session, about an hour a song. We wound up doing 5 of the songs, and right from the get-go, the very first song,
Yeah.
because I'd sent her the demos, like just me like recording for inflection and
Sure.
like where the
Sure.
lyrics would go and stuff, and I was like, here's these kind of placeholders.
Well, that's interesting because I don't know if you got an actual singer to do it, if they would be cool with that versus an actress who kind of that's part of the job.
Oh,
Right.
but she's a trained singer.
Right. No, I understand
And
that, but just
it
in
was
terms of
wild
like.
because she comes in and asks like for sheet music.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm not a singer. I'm
Yeah.
barely a musician. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what notes are. Like,
Totally.
when I learn to play a song, and this is for anyone out there who wants to just play music.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been shy about it. When I sit down to jam with someone, I say what string and what dot.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't feel bad about that because I watched that. You ever see that Jay Reatard documentary?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I wanted to see it though. I heard
His
it was good.
bass player actually does the same thing.
That's awesome.
And puts little, like those little sticker circles
Yep.
on the parts so he knows.
So you know which one to hit. Yeah. I did that once. I had to play a show. One of my first shows I ever played. For some reason, we decided it would be a good idea for me to play stand-up bass, which I'd never even touched before, and I had to stick stickers on it to figure out what I was doing. Yeah,
I've always wanted to play stand-up
it's
bass.
fun.
It's
It's fun. Oh, I was like 15 at the time, but it was fun. It was fun. I was
Have you
like,
played it since?
No,
or?
I didn't have access to one. I was in high school, and there was one at the school, and somehow they let me borrow it for this thing where
We should rent one sometime and like just
yeah.
hang out and see what we can do.
Yeah, see how bad it sounds.
Yeah.
But no, what I meant though is like, I mean, I realize she's a trained singer and stuff, but someone from a band maybe.
She's never sung like this.
Right.
She's done musical theater. She's done like vocal jazz training.
Okay.
But yeah, she'd never been in a band.
So she's probably more open to the idea of you telling her sort of this is how you want it to.
Yeah. So I the way that I kind of when I record with people, I direct them.
Sure.
I direct it like I'm directing a film.
Okay.
Like I've got an idea of what I have in my head, but I'm the type of director or producer, engineer, whatever, that I might give you an idea, but whatever you're going to bring to the table is probably better.
Sure.
Than what I'm going to say. So like, because she had listened to the demo vocals and said, "Oh, like, do you need me to sing it that way?" And I was like, "Oh God, no, Olivia, please, like, like put your own special sauce on it, man." Like,
yeah.
And yeah, like right from the get go, she knew what she was doing, and I said, "Look, like, whatever happens today, like, I'm gonna send you rough mixes, and you're gonna listen to those for a few days or a few weeks, whatever it is, and you're gonna get comfortable with those, and whatever you want to do differently, just you're gonna come back, and we're gonna do it." And it was literally like, I was supposed to do something someday, and that person canceled. And Olivia sent me a note about the mixes.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I got an afternoon free. And it's like, I knew that she was going on tour with an MTC show.
Okay.
And I was starting a new job. And I was like, I feel like today might be our chance
Yeah,
to like
to make it happen. Yeah,
to dive in. And we nailed them. She got
Cool.
the right harmonies. And it just, and I was like, that's it. And I
Cool.
sent him over to Andy. I was like, what do you think? He's like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, these are what these needed to be.
Yeah.
And he just kind of co-signed. Like, he's like, hey, it's your thing at the end of the day. But it was also like, these are my collaborators. These are my friends.
Yeah.
And I, as Olivia and I were recording, because I was like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, and I started listing off bands that I think it's going to be like I'm saying like, oh, like it's like Always, or it's like Rilo Kiley, or it's like Land of Talk, Snail Mail. And I was like, what do you listen to? And she's like, Ariana Grande, a lot of jazz.
Yeah. So not at all what you were thinking for the.
Like she was aware of these artists.
Sure.
And she like did a little homework. She's like, oh yeah, I like this. And
Cool.
But this was like not her thing. Like she's like, I'm in an indie rock band. This is cool.
Yeah.
And as we were recording, I'm saying to her, I was like, well, what would you feel about like if we got together, like, because Matt Powers from Vampires, he and I had been looking for something to do for years together. We're just like a mutual admiration society.
Yeah.
And I was
like, makes cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, Midnight Review presents.
So those tapes are awesome. Yeah.
Oh, and I was like, Matt, like, would you play drums on something like this?
Oh, cool.
And so he's like, when we sit down to do a record all together, it will be like, I'm not going to do it without Matt at this point. Cause I was like, this is our project, dude.
Okay.
Like, so it'll be Matt and it'll be Andy and a few other people that I've been talking to. It's like,
so is Olivia the singer? Is she down for continuing the character?
that's kind of what the plan is, right? Like, so we're in this point where the record came out.
Yeah.
It's on all your streaming platforms. It's called Purposeful Movements. It's 5 songs from Olivia C.
Yeah.
And her fictional backing band
Okay.
is called American Youth.
Okay.
And
It sounds like a very typical indie rock band name. Yeah.
it's even that concept of American Youth is something I've been tossing around. I knew it was a title for something because you look at the titles for a million things with American.
There's tons of them,
American
yeah.
Psycho,
Yep.
American Graffiti, this obsession with America. And then you look at Youth, Sonic Youth,
Yep.
this obsession with youth, right? Even Futurekids is a play on
Kids.
Sonic Youth.
Sure. Yeah.
Something I just knew it was something like that. And so,
Which is funny because Sonic uses to play on Big Youth.
yeah.
But no, that's interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
So I was like, you know what? American Youth is going to be the band, and all of her band members are named after songs.
Okay.
So we have
Songs on the record?
No, songs, just songs
Okay,
in pop
okay.
culture. So Olivia C came from a Futurekids song.
Right.
But on drums, we have Shady Lane
Okay.
after Pavement.
Sure.
We have Casey Accidental on synthesizer after the Broken Social Scene song.
Right.
We have Blank Girl
Okay.
on bass, and that is a Dum Dum Girls song.
Okay.
And on guitar, we have Cecilia Ann, which is I think it's a Dick Dale song that the Pixies covered.
Okay, cool.
Cecilia Ann. It's
Yeah.
a surf rock instrumental. So that's the band. And they, in this upcoming series of shorts,
Yeah.
which I've got a draft written.
Okay.
I'm feeling good about it. It's going to be 14 episodes.
Okay.
This is one of those like really ambitious, dumb things.
Yeah, it sounds
that
extremely ambitious. Yeah.
that I've given myself to do.
But I guess at this point, you've already got the album done, right? So
yeah, the album's done.
Yeah.
There's going to be a music video for each track. There is.
There's one out already.
Yeah, the first music video is for the song Sadie, and that was like, I knew it was a love song, and Olivia C. I knew that she would, in the series, she will work out her relationship with this girl Sadie.
Okay.
And in the video, her and Sadie get together, and they kind of reenact scenes from High Fidelity.
Yes, I noticed the record store stuff and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the next video that's coming out is for the song Maxell UR90.
Okay.
Which is, of course, a
Because
cassette
tape. Yeah.
But that one is going to be kind of a shot-for-shot remake of the Rentals' Friends of P.
Okay, cool. I haven't heard about that song, and I haven't thought about that song in years. Yeah, it's a good song though. Good video too.
I'm a big Rentals fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big Moog synthesizer fan. So, yeah, we've thrown a lot of information your way, Sam. But
Yes.
does this clear things up for you?
It does quite a bit. Yeah.
I wonder if time stops. Your t-shirt becomes mine. Why did you stay so far away when you could stay home? Your little way, so many ways when you could stay here. I wonder if your game has high scores to beat. I wonder if your name goes with mine. High score all time. Why did you stay so far away when you could stay home? Gave you my heart, gave me a pen when you could stay near. It lingers, this longing, a lost song for headphones. I wonder if it was something new inside you. Come find you. Why did you stay so far away when you could stay home? Green Army Jack won't find a way when you could stay clean.
I mean, I figured it was something along these lines. I didn't realize how involved it was exactly, but yeah, it's cool. What is it about the character that you think has stuck with you for this long? Because I mean, you've used it, like you're saying, on posters, in other videos, other bands. Like, why does Olivia C resonate?
The character of Olivia C., when I first wrote it, like I say, a band was falling apart, and I really wanted a reinvention story
Okay.
to dive into. And she's just, I don't know, there's something about a character who is like, fuck it. I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to start
Sure.
from scratch, and I'm going to drop everything, and I'm going to move to a different city or start a different thing. And like, because we've all done that with various things. Like we've quit a job.
Yeah, and just
or,
make a solid, firm endpoint and go
yeah,
on. Yeah,
we've broken up with someone
Sure.
and been like, nope, I'm done with this.
sure. Yeah,
And I just, it's one of those kind of, if we ground it in a universal story and a character that people can identify with.
Yeah.
And she's kind of an unreliable, almost unlikable at times
Okay.
character. Like we have reasons to root for her, but she's not always right. I guess like there's, a lot of the shows I watch, like I watch Veronica Mars a million
Okay.
times, you know, or Mad Men or The Sopranos,
Sure.
and these kind of almost an anti-hero
yeah,
that
definitely.
you can get behind.
Well, you're rooting for them, but then you realize partway through, why am I rooting for this person? Yeah.
It's every time I watch Breaking Bad or
Sure,
something
same
like
thing.
that,
Yeah,
it's-
definitely.
Yeah, it's like why do we care about Walter? Maybe we
Yeah.
don't care about Walter.
Yeah.
You know, like I really.
You start out caring about him, but then you get like halfway through a
Yeah.
couple seasons, and you're like, wait a minute, this
It's like if I met this guy today,
yeah, I would not
I
care
would
about
not
him.
be.
yeah.
So at various points, we're gonna kind of fall in love with Olivia. We're gonna get mad at Olivia.
Sure.
Um,
Which is really like a human relationship
Yeah.
in general, though, too, right?
I steal a lot from it's also an easy way to create an avatar for yourself.
Sure.
So like there's a lot of personal stuff in there, like writing these lyrics. Sure, I'm writing in a character, but it's also like taking from my own experiences.
Of course, yeah. Which is really no different than like a rapper
Yeah.
in character, you know? I mean, there's so many examples of that stuff.
Am
yeah.
I ODB?
I don't know.
Is
yeah.
Olivia C ODB?
Maybe.
Like, I think ODB was living ODB.
I think
but-
he was, the whole
Yeah.
escaping from prison and doing crack and stuff. I think that fits the,
Yeah, I'm not going to start
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that. But and people every time I talk to someone about this, they're like, "Are you going to do it live?"
Well, yeah, that was my next, yeah.
And I'm like, I have no intention of doing it
Okay,
live
okay.
but if the right type of way where we can do a projection, do something like Gorillas.
That's what I was going to ask next. Yeah, it's like, I mean, Gorillas, I guess, is a perfect example. And that other one, too, Prozac,
yeah.
right? Where there's a performance, but it's behind a screen and there's the video is happening and that's what people are watching, but they're hearing
Yeah.
performance. Is that sort of
It's-
something you've thought of at all? Or
Yeah, because like I say, we haven't dove in and turned this into a real band yet.
Sure,
Because
sure.
it's been a recording project where no one's like Andy and Olivia have never even met yet.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like,
So really, if you weren't involved, this whole thing would fall apart. Like,
I'm trying to keep this whole thing together
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
because Andy was like, yeah, if you want to do something with these songs, go for it, man. Like, and that's
yeah.
kind of where it's at. But yeah, I don't know. It was funny because I interviewed one of the guys from Prozac.
Okay.
For my I do a '90s radio show.
Yeah,
on
on UMFM, yeah.
Jaded and Elated. And I interviewed one of the Prozac guys, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm dabbling in animation and we
Yeah.
just had like this really like this great conversation
Cool,
about why they did
Yeah.
it as an outlet because they were in the Philosopher Kings at the time.
That's right. Yeah. And it
they
worked for
won-
them, too, obviously. Like,
Yeah, like it was so that like, seeing them succeed like that, and he was just like, "Hey, send me some of your animation."
Cool.
I never did.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like nervous to do that, but because they do it on a totally different level. But I'm
much
just like,
larger scale. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things, Sam, where I was just like, I want to do this because this is the project I've kind of always wanted to do.
Sure.
And I don't know if I got very jaded with live performance. That was one of the big reasons that Future Kids was like my anxiety kind of took hold.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would, like, I don't know why you stopped playing music if it was just settling down with the family.
Yeah, it
or-
was. I had kids, didn't have time.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
and that's part of it of just like, what am I getting out of this? Like the same people who are coming to play us or coming to watch us play every show.
Yeah.
And
You're probably playing with the same 2 or 3 bands every show too, and stuff.
yeah, we're kind of like, we're trying to expand it, but it's like,
yeah.
some people in the band are like, oh, I booked to play with these guys again. And it's like, oh, I really like those guys, but like we've played with them
5 times. Yeah.
It's like, I love Greek Riots.
Yeah.
And they put on a hell of a show, but
Yeah.
like, and they're not together anymore either.
No, they're not
but
either. No.
They were like one of my favorite bands when they were around.
Yeah, good band.
But it was like, I want to play with some other bands, you
Yeah.
know? And it got to the point where I was also like, and it wasn't really a stage fright thing. It was like, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety issues, man.
Yeah.
And like, I took some time last year and I got better. I got myself right. I got on some pills. Like,
I'm completely the same boat.
yeah.
100%. People often find it weird that I'm have anxiety problems because I interview people for a living and for my hobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's totally. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was having these physical issues with it. I was passing out like for years. And so once we ruled out all the physical, and it was like, cause I did like, yeah, like I walked away from Future Kids. I was like, I would go to a gig, do sound check,
Yeah.
and I would leave and come back home.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, why are you home? And I was like, I just couldn't be there, but I'll go right back right before we have to go on stage. And like, I don't know, it was like things like that were happening. So I was like, it was this perfect storm. And then we got like bumped from our last gig.
Okay.
And I was like, why the fuck am I lugging a bass amp to a venue to be bumped?
You don't want to do it in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, I like performing, and like when I'm on stage, I love it, man. Like I get like, even though I'm not the front man, I get on the mic and I'm like, I'm rambling banter and whatever, but like, so I was just like, there's got to be a different way. What do I like about being in a band?
Yeah.
I like recording. I like writing the songs. I like working with other people.
Sure.
I made a record with my friend Ryan last year. Like there's things that I like about it, and the booking, and like I like drawing the posters, but I don't like giving the posters to my bandmates to hang up.
Sure.
And then them not hanging them up.
And then you find a stack of them a few months later. Yeah.
Yep. You go to the house to jam or whatever, and there's
a
a stack of posters, and like there's just, and it's, you know, everyone's got their own thing, and I love everyone that I've played with. Yeah. But like,
well, I guess in this case too is, and this I can relate to just doing the podcast similarly, is that you have control over the entire project here. Yeah. Like it's, you know, when you're working with other people in a band situation, it's kind of more democratic. Whereas with this, you can basically make it happen how you want it to happen. You're creating the visuals, you're creating the you're writing the lyrics, you're picking the singers. Like it's very much
it's a solo project, I guess.
Yes, but you, because the same with this, I used to do this with other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still friends with them. They lost interest or whatever. Yeah. But, you know, because I'm doing like.
You've kept it alive, man.
But and it's the same thing though. Like, I think if I brought other people in, I wouldn't like it as much, because I like the fact that I'm choosing who I'm interviewing. I'm, you know, choosing what I'm asking about. You know, when they're coming out, how many episodes I'm releasing. All that stuff is all kind of like, I can control it if I lose control of it.
Because there's got to be one person in charge.
Yeah.
I've worked on enough projects to know, like I say, between the films that I've made and the bands that I've been in and any other thing that I've done, whether it's a day job or otherwise, if there's one person steering the ship and one person that the other people can put their trust in,
usually it works.
Yeah. Like, because as like, I want everyone on this project to be a collaborator, you know, and like Andy is, you know, one of the best musicians I ever met. He's one of my best friends. I can't do what he does. Same with Olivia. Like, she just sings circles around anything, because even like that first Futurekids EP, we did it with my voice.
Okay.
And I looked at Josh, and he looked at me. Josh, who recorded it and played guitar on it, and we looked at each other and we said, "You know who'd be really good singing these songs is Gareth Williams."
Well, he killed it too. He was unbelievable on that EP. Yeah.
Yeah, we both knew because we were friends with Gareth, and I was just like, my voice doesn't sound right on these songs. And I'm a big enough person to recognize that.
Right. There's no ego problem where it's like, oh, we got to use this. Yeah.
Like, you must use my takes. And like, so same with these. Like, I was like, look, we've got to find the right voice for these. Yeah. And
Okay, we'll go back to something you said a few minutes ago about the character. One thing I've noticed, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but just looking through the social media and everything for Olivia C, and even looking back at some of the Future Kids stuff, it seems like as a character, the way she looks is the same, but not. Like, from picture to picture, and I'm sure part of that is just, you know, you're drawing her so many times, but part of it also, it looks like she's, depending on the image, she's got a different personality or a different kind of tone to her, and some of them look softer, some of them look more of an edge to it. And is that on purpose, or is that just how she comes out as a result of doing this?
Evolution, I guess, right? Like, this is a character I've been drawing for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So when it started, it was just kind of like, I was finding images of people, and like people I knew, photos I'd taken, like the right, like, move, whatever, like, cause I can draw stuff out of my head, but for something that kind of looks more photorealistic, I guess, like the way I treat Olivia C is that her and her bandmates are real, but they're aware they're in a cartoon world.
Okay.
Which is why they can interact with a robot.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. So like, they're very aware, and they're, you know, when this series or these shorts inevitably come out, you will see they are very aware that they are in an animation. Okay. And they will break the fourth wall and things like that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
which is a very high fidelity thing too.
Yeah, it's very yeah. So we steal, and we, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the look of Olivia, I guess I was like, well, I gotta find someone that I can draw from.
Sure.
And I found she's a singer now, but she started out just as a model. Her name's Casey Hill.
Okay.
And she was an American Apparel model. And I said, this is great. Like, there's all these different poses.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, instead of like trying to draw from just like
You have one picture.
a,
You got
a stick, whatever. Like, what are those things? Like a little standy figure or like posing action figures.
Yeah, I know
or,
what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you bend the arms and
an
stuff.
art,
yeah.
a
yeah.
little wooden art figure.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to draw from that, I was like, okay, I'm finding like, and she's all these different poses and everything. And then she actually became a musician.
That's
kind
kinda
of
funny, yeah.
She was like got signed to Kanye West's label.
Okay, okay.
Good music, and she put out a record. And it was like, wow, it was really great. But I was like, oh, it's gonna feel weird if I'm drawing this musician.
Yeah.
Based on another musician.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of something. So then I was like, so a lot of them are based on Casey Hill, those early ones, or just various people, and not always redheads. She's a redhead.
Yeah.
With the 3 kind of trademark freckles on each cheek.
Right.
And she. The faces don't always look the same because maybe I'm not that good a drawer or whatever, but I tried to put her in kind of the similar outfits.
Yeah.
So she's got this gray shirt with the ringers, or she's got a yellow raincoat.
Yeah.
There's kind of a uniform.
Well, I think that's what I mean. That she's recognizable as her,
Yeah.
but there's different tones to the drawings.
Different iterations,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
depending on how I'm feeling that day,
Sure.
maybe there's a hard outline, maybe there's a soft outline.
Yeah.
But then I discovered going through Instagram and like trying to find someone who kind of fit the bill, who was the right look,
Sure.
and who there was enough images of this person. She's like a Brazilian Instagram personality.
Okay.
I won't even say her name
Sure.
because maybe I'll keep that a secret
Yeah,
as to
yeah.
who she's based on. But yeah, I was like, you know what? And I go into like her Instagram stories and I do like screen grabs of her like talking,
Okay.
so I get the mouth movements
Cool.
right.
And it's action shots are you getting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, it's weird. It's a weird, I don't know, because you research animation, you look at all these things, and you try to find out, you know, it's almost like a rotoscoping type thing where it's like,
were you drawing on top of the photo?
yeah, like sometimes I will put the page on the screen to get the right shape
Okay.
and the right kind of not perspective, but you know, to make sure the body is the right shape to the head and, and things like that, the right sizes. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into just kind of creating Olivia. But for now, yeah, these new iterations of her are all kind of based on this one girl on Instagram. And I don't even know about likeness rights and things.
Right, yeah,
and because it's a
Maybe
thing,
you shouldn't say her name then.
I'm not going to say her name then,
Yeah.
for sure. But you know, Casey Hill can sue me for the old photos
Sure.
that I made,
Right.
or the old drawings I made
Right.
nothing on. But yeah, I don't know, and that's a whole other thing too, because the more you look at influencers and models and things on Instagram, there's like this whole culture of people drawing them.
Yeah.
And then they're sharing these images, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you!" And it's just kind of like, okay,
It's weird, yeah.
But
There's also a whole culture of people who are fake on Instagram. They're not fake
Yes.
with fictional characters. I mean, these are obviously a lot more because they're 3D and they're
Yeah.
extremely photorealistic, whereas yours are obviously drawn. But like, yeah, it seems like there's a whole.
It's very obvious that it's fake.
Yeah. But yet they have millions of followers as if it's real, and it's.
And I'm blanking on the name of the singer, but Poppy.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Poppy?
I'm not sure.
She's
Is she a fictional?
she's a performance art piece basically. It's a singer and then a producer. This guy named Titanic Sinclair.
Good name.
Yeah, and they'd created. Mars Argo was the first thing that this guy had created with another singer.
Okay.
It was his girlfriend, I think. And Mars Argo was quite interesting. Really great music. And I'd first just heard a song. I didn't even know it was this concept thing.
Okay.
And then I guess Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair break up, and then this Poppy thing happens, and it's like the music's not good.
Okay.
Mars Argo is good musically. This new thing, Poppy, it's like the pop reggae
Sure.
that
Okay.
people do. And
Yeah,
I know you're a reggae guy.
But not a pop reggae.
But
type
this
one.
is like it's like that
yeah.
bad pop music,
Yeah,
reggae,
I know what you
like,
mean, yeah.
and it's like, you know, like a young white girl has no kind of business doing pop reggae.
yeah.
But they treat this thing like a performance art piece. So I was like doing all this research on things like it, doing research on Gorillaz and Prozac and Poppy, and just kind of like, what can this thing do to be different than those things? And I was like, well, there's not really an indie rock thing. There's not really this, I don't know, this uniquely like Winnipegger goes to Portland type story. And I feel kind of bad because some people have messaged Olivia on Instagram or Twitter as though she's
It's a person.
Olivia, and then I kind of have to awkwardly be like, "Oh, my name is Nick."
Yeah.
And this is kind of the solo project thing.
Yeah.
And trying to explain the concept is awkward sometimes.
Well, so there's no secret behind it though, right? You're open
No.
about that it's you and that
Yeah,
okay.
but Olivia's social media presence
Is her.
as though it's written from Olivia's point
Yeah,
of view.
yeah.
And I was like right from the get-go, I was like, that's how it's going to be. And you and I can acknowledge that I am Olivia.
Sure.
Or that Olivia Ulrich is the voice of Olivia.
Sure.
Olivia C. I know it can get confused,
Yeah.
especially since it was just like a weird coincidence.
It's really weird.
Andy was like, she's going to think you made this for her. And I was
Yeah,
like,
totally.
no.
You looked up and my eyes gave in. You looked in and my hands went numb. Trouble at the hen house on the night you were born, and I am so alone. Why? Did I try? When will I ever try? I can try, I can try, I can try. You gave in when you came up early. Counted 10, that's how long this would be. Tabulate all the notes in between. Why? Did I try? When will I ever try? I can try, I can try, I can try. Army brat, it was not my fault. Coming at something more than you're not. Count to 9 and then count 50 more. Why did I try? When will I ever try? I can't try, I can't try, I can't try. I can't try, I can't try, I can't try. I can't try, I can't try, I can't try. I can't try, I can't try, I try.
So what do you do then, I guess, once, the record's out there now? If someone wants to interview Olivia C., do you just do what you're doing right now and be like, this is my project, this is how it came about? Or do you actually have any intention of putting the voice of Olivia out as Olivia
Yeah, we've released a few little like Instagram videos of her talking.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like in character, and like, and we've, a few more of those will be coming out.
Cool.
As the year progresses. Like I say, 2019 will be kind of the year of music videos and little like
Yeah.
her kind of establishing her own voice. So, I had a couple kind of written, and then Olivia and I just kind of riffed. Olivia Ulrich and I
Right,
kind of
right.
riffed
Yes, yeah,
on,
you gotta clarify
on a few
that. Yeah.
Olivia C things.
Okay.
But yeah, when I kind of put out, I kind of started. I've started putting the feelers out there now to do interviews, and I kind of wanted you to be the first interview.
Sure.
To really establish this, because you and I kind of we've talked
we've
before,
had you on the show a couple times and stuff, and yeah.
yeah, and so you understand maybe where I'm coming from.
I hope so, yeah.
With something like
no,
this.
I think I do. Having talked to you now, I definitely have a better grasp on what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with the previous work, so
Yeah,
I thought this
yeah.
would be kind of the right place to start talking about it. But yeah,
Well, I'm glad. Thanks for. Yeah.
oh, of course, yeah, this is your exclusive.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is as I put out press releases now, it's going to say you can talk to me,
Sure.
or with some notice, you can do either an email interview with Olivia,
Yeah.
or potentially an audio interview
With the other Olivia
with
as Olivia.
with Olivia as Olivia.
Right.
Wow, what
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So, I guess, what is the eventual goal with this then? Is it just to keep going with the Olivia character until sort of you run out of ideas for her, or
There is an end in sight.
okay? Like, do you have a plan for the storyline with her? I guess maybe
Yes,
is more.
the storyline is mapped out.
Okay.
For the series itself. The second record, this first record, like I say, it's called Purposeful Movements.
Mm-hmm.
The second record will be called American Youth.
Okay. Name of the band.
Yep. It's a title I've always wanted to use for something, and so yeah, the plan will be this year's the record, the EP, Purposeful Movements, and
Okay.
then next year will be season 1,
Okay.
and then there will be this full-length album, American Youth, in 2021,
Okay.
and in 2022 we will see season 2.
That's a really. I mean, you're thinking far ahead here, which is unusual, I think, for a local independent music project, right? Because a lot of the time it's like, yeah, we put this out. I don't know what's happening. Play a show. Yeah. But it's so different. I guess you have the luxury of being able to plan it out. Because,
yeah, and just kind of, the beauty of it too is that like we can make this record piecemeal.
Sure.
And we can, if. And I've now locked Matt Powers into doing this.
Yeah, no, you mentioned him enough times on here. Yeah.
We've been talking about this record for the last year. He and I, and
cool.
then he had a kid.
That's right, yeah.
And like, so we kind of set up a date, and the kid came early, and I was like, "That's no rush, man."
Yeah.
Like I am thinking ahead for this thing. But yeah, so season 2 will be it. Like the story has an ending.
Cool.
And then whether the music keeps going after that, I don't know.
Sure.
It depends on who's around and who wants to work on it. Like, all I know is that just having recorded vocals with Olivia Ulrich,
yeah,
I know I want to keep working on stuff with her.
Cool.
And with my friends that I've already made some music with.
Right.
And
well, that's just a natural thing you do anyway, probably, right? Regardless of whether you were making an album.
It's,
or, yeah.
You know what though? As I'm getting older, like I say, I'm 36.
Yeah.
And it's getting to this point where I used to do a ton of projects, and I'm having to pull back and limit myself, and like, even just like setting a few hours aside on a Sunday or an evening or whatever to work on Olivia C stuff. Yeah. It's getting to be like, this is the project. This is it. Like, I have a job that's creatively demanding as well.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really have when I started this crazy 3-year project.
Sure, yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, I do see an end in sight, and whether or not that includes live shows, we will see once we start kind of working on the American Youth record.
Okay.
And I'm telling you stuff here that I have like.
You haven't figured out yet.
Yeah, like no, like I started writing for that record.
Okay.
There's a couple of songs written for sure, and a few songs that were coming together at the end of Futurekids that never.
Right. Like
that we played during that last practice where I was like, this isn't quite right, but I know it's there for something.
So you can tweak it and eventually build it into what you want.
Yeah, and then I want to come in with some lyrics and some ideas, but I also want to see what everyone else is going to bring to the table. And like Olivia Ulrich has never written lyrics, but I said to her, I was like, I want to write a song with you.
Okay.
Because she's actually like, she's an actress, and she's got a comedy troupe called Not My Favorite Daughter.
Okay.
Which is, they've done Fringe a bunch of times, and they're doing a lot of like stuff at Wee Johnny's, like those kind of sketch nights
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like hunks and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, like, and she's getting out there with her. It's a 4-person team. It's like a Kids in the Hall or Baroness Fun sketch show.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
she's really good, really, and she's doing a lot of drama and stuff too. So like, she can bring all of these different, basically every aspect of what she's doing. There's comedy, there's drama,
Yeah.
there's singing, and so I want to break. She writes a lot of the sketches and things like
Okay.
that, and so I was like,
So you know she can write. It's just transferring those skills to songwriting, right?
yeah, she's like, I've written joke songs.
Okay.
I was like, you can write a song.
If you write a joke song, you write a song. It's a song, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I always say to people is like, if you want to write a song, write the song.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have a structure. It doesn't like, and more power to the people that sit down with a lot of songwriters. But I've always said like, and I love to collaborate and write songs with other people.
Yeah.
But like, most of the songs that I write, I treat making music almost from a documentary standpoint.
Okay.
I like to
Makes
write
sense
it
with
down.
the film background and everything, right?
Yeah, like I like to capture these moments, right? I write it down. There was a few lines I tweaked
Okay.
on this record because I knew they could be a little better, but for the most part, the lyrics are like first pass.
Cool.
The music is first pass.
Yeah.
A lot of Olivia Ulrich's first takes.
Cool.
She just fucking nailed it.
It's awesome.
Like,
It's awesome, yeah.
yeah, it's one of those projects where I was like, when you like, I love the Future Kids records. You like the Future Kids records.
Yeah.
You've said some nice things over the years about them, but there's like a few things where it's like, I would have done this differently. I would have liked to have changed that. This is kind of the first music project I've ever had where, and maybe it's because there wasn't a plan in the beginning.
Sure.
Maybe I overthink things, but this came together.
Yeah.
This is the exact sound that I heard in my head.
And you didn't feel that with Future Kids records? Like once they came out, it
No.
was still something was not right about them? Or?
Yeah, it was always, I don't know, like as beautiful a voice as Gareth Williams or Kaylee
Mm-hmm.
Eyre or Paul Webster has, and like Ian Peters is like, he's the best drummer I've worked with. Like,
Yeah.
Andy and I drum on Purposeful Movements, and we are not drummers,
Yeah.
but we can keep a beat.
Yeah.
We know that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's like all these, there's elements that I love
Sure.
to all the records that I've made and all the bands that I've played with, but like it never quite
Yeah.
got to the, and maybe it was just like too many cooks in the kitchen or something. I don't know, man. But
this one is it?
I feel like this is the right sound, I feel like this is something I've been chasing.
Cool.
And
I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you
Yeah,
finally
it's-
got that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of bands right now that have this sound that I really love, and I feel like it kind of like Snail Mail or Phoebe Bridgers.
Okay.
Phoebe Bridgers is someone that I just got obsessed with in the last year, and yeah, so it doesn't really sound like Phoebe Bridgers, but I
Right.
feel like
Something seeping in there maybe a little bit?
yeah, like I would say that listening to her music and reading her lyrics, it made me want to make this better.
Okay.
It's like it's like she's one of those, she's like in her early 20s, right? And just kicks your ass.
Right. Which is always surprising when someone young is, yeah.
But she like one of my favorite songwriters is Elliott Smith.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're an Elliott Smith guy, but
I mean, I've definitely listened to him.
yeah, you're aware
yeah,
of,
yeah.
And she's a big Elliott Smith
Okay.
fan. And so it was just kind of like, you find a young musician that kind of revitalizes your love.
Sure.
And also too, I was talking about earlier, the anxiety.
Yeah.
And the worrying. And I was in there was a full year where I was like, I don't care about creating anything. And between Phoebe Bridgers and getting on some medication
Yeah.
and all of these things, I was like, you know what? I feel creative again. I feel
Cool.
kind of alive again. There was a lot of things, and even like, listening to like your podcast, man, and like listening to musicians talking about
Yeah. Creating.
others, like it's just a million and one things that kick yourself in the ass
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
let's just get up and do it. And this is the idea.
Cool.
I have no delusions that this will reach 1 million people
Yeah.
or 1,000 people.
But does that even matter?
No.
You don't care, right? You're not in it for the fame and the glory or whatever.
Not
Because
at
if you
all.
were, I think it would be you in the forefront, right? Versus instead of
Yeah.
not a fictional character.
my ego would be
Yeah.
much bigger.
Yeah.
I would be Billy Corgan.
Right, yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But no, this is something that's like, I was always very happy when a Future Kids record got played on campus radio.
Yeah.
That was always the goal. Like, the Future Kids records would chart in Lethbridge.
It's pretty cool.
Like,
It's-
we hit number 2 in Lethbridge. And
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. that someone I don't know is playing.
Yeah, how did they find it, right? Yeah.
Or like weird blogs in Australia, like because I'd send it out to people, and then other people would find it, and it's like that's fantastic. So like, and this is like you do your due diligence.
Yeah.
You write the press release, you send it out, you put it on. I did the distro and whatever, and sent it out through iTunes and Spotify, and you make sure that people can find it. But because I've never toured.
Yeah.
I've never been lucky enough to be in a band that's toured. Or
farthest I've been is Brandon. That was the extent of my
hey.
touring. Brandon and Portage. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've played a couple of out of town.
Yeah.
Like we played the Gimli Film Festival and stuff like that. But yeah, like I've always kind of wanted to tour. So this is, in a weird way, this is my way of
living vicariously through bands.
Yeah, I can live through Olivia as she travels North America and goes into outer space.
Is that part of the
watch out?
Right on. Well, it's not something you can do as a human band, right? So you have the for freedom with animation, I guess.
That's the thing too, is that if we're going to do this animated, what can we do differently?
Yeah.
Why is this the medium of choice? And so there's like Olivia she's going to go to Mars.
Cool.
And there's a lot of social commentary to the series that you won't see for a year.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of
you're setting it up though.
If I can plant these seeds here, and people can, people will listen to this maybe when that comes out too. But yeah, there's a lot of commentary on like women in the music industry and what they're working towards, and how these there's Svengali figures like Orion Adams.
Yeah.
There's a Phil Spector type character named Harvey Stevens that I'm also from a short film I made that I'm bringing back for this, and he's kind of a Svengali type. And then also there's commentary on the state of radio, and streaming, and things like that. And so one of the big things is radio is fighting very hard to stay relevant. So they book a show on Mars.
Okay.
To be like, hey, we're doing a show live from Mars.
I get people tuning in,
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So if someone listening to this, if they've been able to grasp the concept, which I think you've explained it.
I hope we have
clearly enough. But how does someone get involved in the whole Olivia C universe here? Like, how do they find out more about this project and kind of follow what you're doing?
Yeah, there's a website that kind of explains the project called oliviac.net.
Okay.
I don't often pay for a domain name, but I was like, let's do it. oliviac.net. You can follow oliviac33 on all your social media channels. You can it's on, the record is available to stream on Spotify, on Bandcamp. Cool. It's called Purposeful Movements. I know this isn't radio, but I'm going to keep saying the name. Purposeful Movements.
It's good. Yeah, I will also put a link to the Bandcamp in the or the website probably in the show notes, so people can hopefully just click on that and go from there.
And again, on YouTube, there is going to be a ton of content.
Yeah.
A bunch of music videos, all again hand drawn animation.
Yeah.
And like you said before, it looks different.
Yeah.
That's very conscious. I don't want it to look like anything else because this is like a content war, man.
It is. Yeah.
As someone who, my day job is content. Your day job is content.
That's right. Yeah.
We know we're fighting for clicks.
Yep.
So if we can find something that looks different.
Yeah, it stands out. Yeah, for sure.
And put it out there, then please join up and find Olivia C.
Cool.
Online, man.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, people should check that out and stay tuned for, I guess, the first season, which is maybe the next thing coming out, right?
Yeah, well, it'll be music videos throughout the year. The first season won't be out until next year.
Okay.
We're speaking very much ahead of this.
No, it's cool though. Yeah. I'm excited to see what the actual, because the music videos you get a bit of the story, but actually seeing a season of story would be.
Well, that's the thing too, is that I wanted to, with the music videos, have it be part of the story,
sure,
kind of the pre-story, and set things up. But you're also just these are one-offs that you can enjoy.
Yeah, you don't have to be invested in the whole overarching story.
Yeah, it's I want someone to be like, what the hell is this thing I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Why is this who's this cartoon? Oh, the band is the cartoon.
Yeah.
There's not a real band? Cool.
Yeah, how did this happen? Who made it?
Yeah, so that they can do they can get confused and they can see Olivia's from Portland.
Yes.
Just like you.
Baffling. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay. Well, stay tuned for all of that stuff, right? Cool. And if you want to hear more episodes of this show, including the ones that Future Kids were on, it's been a while now, I think, with 3 or 4
It's been a
years.
few
Yeah,
years, yeah.
They're all there for free download and streaming. Go to witchpolice.com. All 370 whatever episodes are there.
Congrats on that, man.
It's
by
getting
the way.
ridiculous. Yeah, well, ever since I switched to 2 a week, it's been just like the numbers are going crazy. Like in terms of how many I've released. So yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
This is the documentation of the Winnipeg music scene, though, man.
That's kind of the idea. I think.
Yeah.
I think it turned from me just wanting to hang out with people and talk about records to like, wait, I actually care about this stuff.
Yeah.
And like, as evidenced by my hoarding of local music, and like, so yeah, it's a way to kind of.
You've kind of your my collection is good, but yours must be like the collection of Winnipeg music.
I think there's probably a few people out there. There's got to be like somebody out there with a basement just full of shit. I got a lot of it, but yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Thanks again for having me here. This is super interesting, and I hope that Olivia C kind of takes off. I mean, I think you have opportunity because of the way it's set up to potentially grow beyond basement. You know what I mean? Like maybe more so than a traditional band because it's digital. I mean, it's animated and it's not you. It's this whole persona and everything.
And it's fun to play with that. Like Olivia C can say things that I won't.
Sure.
And the other characters can say things that I won't. And robots.
Yeah, robots
can say and do things that I won't.
Definitely, including going to Mars.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Everything else comes easy to me. All I ever wanted was for you to see the halfway point, compromise. But I get lost when I look in your eyes. Time's heavy. It's important, but I don't want to absorb it. It's the sound of the life you hear. Episodics gotta make it clear. Sharing sounds and singing in my ear. Episodics capture never clear. I know I've got a lot to learn. There's jealousy, there's bridges burned. Every now and then I think of you. The paint is dry, the body too. Questions heavy. It's important, but I don't want to ignore it. It's the sound of the life you hear. Episodics gotta make it clear. Sharing sounds and singing in my ear. Episodics capture never clear. Quickly 2, then 3 and 4. Though it feels like I am doing more. Took a bath, then break the glass. It's a mural of the weekend's past. Conversation.